See, yeah. They're just warming up.
We got good stuff going.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Season 3 of the Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts podcast. I'm Matt. Over there is my only other brother in the world who gives an S about this S.
Mike, that's me.
That's Mike.
Hello.
And then over there, at the control panel, making sure nothing sets on fire and that it goes out to you, our dear listener, is J-Lo, the grand poobah of hoo-ha.
Coffee. Yes. Welcome, everyone, to Season 3. We're still here, and we're not going anywhere, no matter how hard or how loud you protest.
We grow funky like old toe fungus grow.
Or how violent the revolution.
Yeah. We will be the soundtrack to the revolution.
Available only on podcasts.
What a fucking revolution that would be. Yeah, Season 3, we're back. And just to give everyone a sort of refresher, if you haven't been around, if you're a new listener jumping on in, what we like to do here at Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts is basically feature various, Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts from throughout history, mostly dead ones, so we can't be sued by them. But, yeah, everyone, no matter how crazy or crazy they've been called or seem to be, has something worthwhile of saying or having been heard. Or having heard? Or having heard. And that's kind of the basic idea behind what we do here.
Just, hang out.
Yeah, you know.
You're mowing the lawn or doing honeydews, driving around town.
Yeah. We philosophize about deities and ladies and stuff.
And then we joke about it.
If I had to clean it up from the, the original version.
You got to clean it up from front to back.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Not the other way.
Yeah. The other way causes bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
So, today we are gathered here to discuss a man who has profoundly touched all of our lives, I think.
If he has not, he's about to.
Yeah, he's about to reach out and touch you, that's for sure. Quite possibly inappropriately, but you'll love it anyways. Yeah, this guy, as I've said to my friends and family many times before, is basically my own personal drop-dead Fred. He's got me through some very hard times in my life. I love him very much. He is my spirit animal, I guess you could say.
And along with Mr. T, he's in your Justice League.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Today we're talking about one Mr. Russell Jones, a.k.a. the Old Dirty Bastard.
A.k.a. Dirt McGirt.
A.k.a.
Old Dirty Chinese Restaurant.
Sorry. A.k.a. Joe Bananas. A.k.a. Big Baby Jesus. And various others, etc. I'm surprised that Wikipedia even put the fucking Old Dirty Chinese Restaurant on there.
Yeah.
And, I guess they want to be thorough.
Yeah. I mean, we got to try.
Yep. So, Matt, kick us off with some biographical info there. I'll be jumping in throughout that as well.
This will eventually just turn into a giant round table of other times we were hanging out listening to Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
We hope you enjoy Old Dirty too, so hopefully we do it justice for everyone.
Yeah, I think after this, you'll at least have a soft spot in your heart for the man. He's a folk hero, for crying out loud.
It's an American treasure.
An original rapper. I mean, the singing rapping is original.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I don't think it's really been duplicated since.
So he's a romantic, he's a innovator, he's a father and a bastard.
Yeah, I've heard two sources. One source says 7 kids, another source says 13 kids.
We'll split the difference and call it Bleen.
Yeah.
According to Fox News, it's 130.
Wow.
No, that's not true. I'll cut that out.
Anyways.
11.
Something like, 11. Born November 15th, 1968, New York City. Died November 13th, 2004, the tender age of 35. Hey.
Yeah, 2 days before his 36th birthday.
I know, man. It's crazy town. His first album was Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers in 1993.
Ooh. Oh, hold on.
The big one that got everyone famous. There was don't forget All In Together Now, Before, with the RZA and the Jizza, all of which are first cousins.
Yeah. Real quick, I have some. Excuse me. Cut that out, please. Real quick, I have some quick background information. His grandparents came up from the South. They lived through slavery. Apparently, his grandfather was Chief Joaquin Kufi of the Shinnecock Nation tribe. So yeah, he's got some.
He's got some interesting background.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Anywho, on with the chlorophyll.
Wait, where were we? Oh, yeah. So, All In Together Now and Gravediggers was, all that was beforehand. That's where they kind of started the proving ground.
Yeah, but he wasn't in Gravediggers.
Oh, well, then we'll just have to cut that part out, too, I guess. I was under the impression that Trails...
I think he did some tracks with them, but he wasn't like an official member.
There you go. He's never been an official member of anything outside of the Wu-Tang Clan, even...
Brooklyn Zoo, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of his own.
That's his jam.
Yeah.
Anyways, he began his solo career in 1995 with Return to the 36 Chambers, Dirty Version, with such hits as Brooklyn Zoo, Shimmy Shimmy Ya, and gave the album... Are you drinking right now, Mike?
That was me.
Oh, that's a weird noise.
Sorry, I'll cut that out.
Anyways, both those songs ended up giving the album platinum status, and it catapulted him into the solo career that was Old Dirty Bastard. The Shimmy Shimmy Ya, Shimmy Ya, Shimmy Ya, give me the mic so I can take it away. I mean, man, I actually was at work the other day and waiting to clock in, and I started singing it out loud, and everyone's like, wow, that's a really good song. And I was like, thanks, it's by this guy. And it's amazing to me that people my age and younger don't know much about him.
They know the name, at least.
I don't think these
they
people
have
did.
to.
Real quick, man, when I used to teach elementary music, I had a group of fifth graders, and this was in Pleasant Grove, where everybody and their moms literally listens to rap. And when I mentioned the Wu-Tang Clan, I just saw an entire classroom of blank faces. They had no idea who the Wu-Tang Clan was.
It's just a generational thing, I think, man.
Yeah, it's become esoteric now.
Blew me away.
I think the Dirty South movement really fucking ruined. No, I won't say that. I'll take that out, or take that.
Man, there's a lot of redactions and edits.
Yeah. Well, I also because I have all this shit that like comes out that happens before 36 Chambers, even Wu-Tang. Because let's see, 1993. He caught a second-degree assault, felony charge. 94, he was shot in Bed-Stuy following an argument. I also believe he was shot twice in a home invasion by... This is a supposed story. Allegedly, some rap industry, quote-unquote, insiders were robbing various rap artists of their jewelry and selling it on the streets.
Really?
Yeah. So he got robbed for a number 7 pendant, which, like, you know, number 7 has to do with 5% Nation, et cetera, which we'll get into later.
So, wait. What constitutes a business insider?
I mean, the word insider in that article that I saw was in quotes. I can't remember where the article was from, but...
Because in that context, Cornelius would technically be the podcast industry insider in ours. Yeah.
Cornelius, got him. Okay. Sorry.
Don't disparage other people's comments.
I know, just I'm so sick of Cornelius. Sorry. Fuck. Yeah. Insider. I guess that just meant that they knew where people lived, or, you know, how they were friends. You know how it is, like everyone's got like a big ass entourage and people know people. So I'm assuming I'm sure that the word insiders was the most, you know, loosest consideration of the word insiders. But yeah, he was shot like in the arm and the back, I believe, during a foiled robbery attempt. And yeah, and I believe that was leading up to Enter the 36 Chambers.
A foiled robbery attempt, like somebody attempted to rob him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Nobody likes to get shot.
Twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially twice.
As you'll see moving forward, seems to be a bit of a theme. I don't know, or at least him being shot at. It happens. It comes up quite a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not ready till 1995. So if you got anything else before 1995,
Nope. That was up till, let's see, I got 97 moving forward.
1995. Oh, a year which will live in infamy.
The year I started high school.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes, yeah.
Old dirty bastard arrived by a limousine in front of the welfare office with his 3 children to cash a $375 welfare check.
Oh, yeah.
The event was filmed by MTV and was seen by his caseworker. This ultimately cut off his eligibility for food stamps and welfare, and also sparked a great debate in Congress over welfare reform.
Yeah, the laws changed specifically because of the actions of Old Dirty.
And in 1996, the law was passed to prevent people like Old Dirty Bastard from collecting welfare, and he was still getting paid for the first album. Like he had like $35,000 or $30,000 to his name already just from that one. They're like dividends were still rolling in from that.
Yeah, the whole limo to the welfare store, or whatever you call it.
Did he even pay for that limo?
I don't know. Probably well, you know what? I'm sure he did, because that seems like a whole stunt for the MTV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up sparking a whole goddamn outrage about, welfare fraud, etc. Blah, blah, blah. But to quote him in that very same, episode, why would you not want free money? So I don't know.
I mean, if he qualified for it.
Yeah,
I mean, he went and got it. I mean, anybody could do that.
Plus, he gave it all to his children in the show. So, I mean, I don't know.
Okay, there you go. That's great.
The only reason he was still collecting that was because they were going off of the previous tax year, and he was still technically under the poverty line.
This could have happened to anybody, though.
So, but then they see that, and they're like, oh, hey. Which I'm sure raised a few eyebrows across other 3-letter organizations in the United States.
Oh, yes. I believe, let's see, you said that was in 95 when that happened?
Yeah, the incident was in 95. The law was passed in 96.
Okay, because by 97, after the release of Wu-Tang Forever, he was arrested for owing $35,000 in back child support to his first wife, Icelyn Jones. And I don't know. I could see that kind of qualifying, I guess, as well. So
they do send you to jail for not paying child support.
Oh, shit, yeah, they will.
Oh, yeah.
They'll garnish your celery.
Yeah. And on that album, Wu-Tang Forever, he actually had less audio time than in Enter the 36.
That's true. But he had a solo track, Dog Shit, which is one of the best goddamn songs ever. You've been shitted on. That's just a great line. Yeah, he introduced and closed out the smash single Triumph. I believe he was also on a song called Maria and Visions. And he did the hook for As High as Wu-Tang Get.
Yes. All of which, phenomenal job.
F&A.
In 1998, Old Dirty witnessed a car wreck from the window of his studio.
Mm-hmm.
And he, in a panic, ran down there and found out there was a 4-year-old girl trapped underneath the vehicle. And then when he had organized the onlookers to help pick up the car to rescue her, and she ended up with a bunch of second-degree and third-degree burns all over her body.
Yep.
and they took her to the hospital, and he would show up under an assumed name to visit her and check on her.
Several days in a row, yeah.
Until the media caught wind of it, and they're like, "Ooh, dirty, 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 dirty. Is this microphone in your face? Is this microphone in your face?" And
did that happen?
No, they just found out he was in there.
Yeah,
and he's like,
he was a hero. God damn it!
I don't want to attract any more attention.
Yeah,
and
right after that.
The incident.
The incident, quote unquote.
Kanye wishes he could have done it first.
Yeah. Yes, this is the infamous Grammy incident where Old Dirty, under the pretense that, Wu-Tang was going to win Best Album of the Year and ended up losing to a person named Sean Colvin. Who even knows who the fuck that is? No, I recognize that name, but I mean... Who cares? Anyways, that's where he was remarked to say this.
I went and bought me an outfit today that costed a lot of money today. You know what I mean? Because I figured that Wu-Tang was going to win. I don't know how y'all see it, but when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children. You know what I mean? Puffy is good, but Wu-Tang is the best. Okay? I want y'all to know that this is ODB and I love you all. Peace.
And he's not wrong.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Yes. Hey man, I learned from
the 4-year-old girls, so they are for the children.
Exactly. Man, to interject with another bit of story here, I was introduced to weed and Wu-Tang pretty much right at the same time. And this was around the time in my life when I started, let's say, searching for answers in the world. Why is everything the way it is? Blah, blah, blah. You hit a certain age and I don't know.
You want to have a spiritual experience. That tells you the truth.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, you start seeking out things, seeking out answers and information and, learning about spirituality, etc. And man, these two things entered my life at just the right time to make me who I am now. And that's either what's right or wrong with me today.
They were intertwined, kind of like two twists of a bread before it's baked.
Exactly.
And then, it gets baked.
Baked like pound cake. Yeah. So, post Grammys, the incident was, of course, being blasted all over the news media. And I love this fact as well. All kinds of square, white, uptight newscasters were finding any way they could to get around saying the word bastard on TV.
What is this shit? I can't say this shit on TV.
Yeah. I can't say this bullshit on TV. Bastard. Oh, man.
Who's this old dirty Dirt McGirt fella? He's got like 8 names. Can't we just give him a different name?
I like the name Joe Bananas. I wish he'd used that more, but that was like their whole mafia thing. Yeah. Bastard. I didn't know who you were. But yeah. I
was going to go with 1999.
Yes, I think that's where we're at now in the timeline.
So in 1999, he wrote and recorded I Can't Say the Word, Please.
Oh, yeah. His second solo album.
With the hit song Got Your Money.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much the song.
Produced by the Neptunes and featuring Khalees.
Yes.
Before she went on to join, I want to say Destiny's Child, but I don't know if that's right. I could be wrong on that.
Well.
But Khalees, she had a solo career as well. She's smoking hot. Worth checking out.
Yeah. He also did work with Macy Gray.
Yeah.
And
and Mariah Carey.
Yeah. And the one he did with Macy Gray, it's just so lighthearted and silly.
I haven't heard that one, I don't think.
Man, it's been a long time since I've heard it, but it's pretty funny.
I know that him and Mariah Carey were like friends till the end.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they both probably got the same threads.
Same build.
Yeah.
And very compatible people.
Yeah. Maybe post 2003 when he got out of prison. Yeah.
So also I even hate putting these people in the same spotlight.
Oh God, yeah, this part.
But because of transparency and because of the integrity of the show, we have to put this out there.
For the sake of transparency, yes.
I have been informed. Old Dirty Bastard was paid $30,000 to appear on Insane Clown Posse's 5th studio album, The Amazing Jekyll Brothers. And let me tell you,
hey man, $30,000 I'd appear on it
in 1999.
Posse album.
$30,000 to cut like 2 tracks or a track. And you know, I'd do it too, but I would do probably just like he did and make it sound almost like incoherent ranting and rambling. In fact, it was so bad that the OCP had to come back and re-edit all the ranting to try and get it to rhyme.
Yeah, I think they got like 4 verses out of it. It was mostly just him. You know what?
It took 2 days for Old Dirty to get all that out.
This is going to be base speculation, but he was probably intoxicated. I'm just going to throw that out there. You know, I'm theorizing, but sounds about right.
So they had edited it down and they entitled the track Bitches. Because that's all.
Because they're a bastion of culture.
That's all Old Dirty had talked about, was going on a rant about bitches.
His words. His words.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah.
His words.
I like the hard B Morgan Freeman kind of inflection you gave the word bitches, though, there that second time.
Well,
The voice of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to clarify that the name of the track was called Bitches.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Many years, well, not many years later, but around that same time, actually, the FBI, speaking of Insane Clown Posse, would classify the Juggalos and Insane Clown Posse as a criminal organization right up there with the Wu-Tang Clan, falling under federal RICO statutes, etc. But we'll get more into that in just a bit.
That's how hip the government is, just so you know.
Yeah, right?
We need to find a way to get these musical gangsters. Like, we got to put a mark on them. So they got the parental advisory stamp on anything with explicit lyrics.
We got to paint a picture.
Let's see what Tipper Gore thinks about it. She's a smart lady.
And
very relevant.
Yeah.
They use that parental advisory as their catalyst for Harry Connick Jr. I'm sure he's just a baby back then, but nah, he's not dangerous. Look at this Coolio. This guy looks like he's dangerous. The old dirty bastard. Yeah, this guy's got look. Someone get a dossier started on this.
Coolio's probably one of the most like harmless rappers you could fucking come across. And I've also heard theories that the record labels helped actually to put the parental advisory sticker out, because anything with that sticker on it was guaranteed to fucking sell. Like, it made money hand over fist.
It backfired. The original intent was to slow down the sales and keep parents...
Because everyone thinks kids are stupid who, well, I mean...
Look, I forgot how much a CD used to cost, because I haven't bought one in forever.
Me either.
But, if I had, I don't know, $10 to go buy I would like $13 to buy a CD.
Mm-hmm.
Some 95, yeah.
Yeah. You just, okay, well, here's, I can make $13 in a day picking up, trash at a construction site or whatever, like, it's not hard to get $13 when you're a kid.
Nope.
I mean, hey, can I do some chores for you to get some money? Sure. What are you going to use the money for? Old Dirty Bastard album. Excuse me?
Yeah.
What did you call me?
An album.
I called you an album.
An old album.
Yeah, man, me and a couple of my friends, man, we used to shoplift a lot. I'm not going to lie. And music was one of the number one things that we...
Those businesses don't exist anymore. It's cool.
Yeah. I remember one day they put those little like magnetic stickers on the CD wrappers, Yeah. And I was trying to like basically tear one off in like a Blockbuster Music or some shit. And this lady right next to me, she's like, "Are you trying to steal that CD?" I like put it down and walked out backwards like, "No, excuse me, my oven's calling."
That would have been hilarious if you had tried to get out like very quietly, but knocked over every CD rack on the way out.
If ODB would have been there, he would have saved you.
Yeah, he'd have been an even bigger distraction.
Ironically, people under the stairs said that if you ever see their album in Walmart, you should steal it.
I agree.
Back to the story. So, 2001, Old Dirty was arrested for crack cocaine possession. Possession. I can't stress that enough.
20 vials.
He's just really well prepared.
He's an entrepreneur. It's fine.
It's cool. He's just hanging on to it for a friend.
Yeah, for a friend.
So
Would that be Santa Claus?
maybe. I don't know. We need to ask that guy.
They're both folk saints.
So this pissed off his record label at the time, which was Elektra, and he had a 3-album deal with them. He had already completed 2, and because they were like, well, he's going to jail for a while, and he's probably not going to make another album, let's take the best tracks, quote unquote, from the first 2 albums, and then we'll make a 3rd album and call it Greatest Hits.
Let's essentially do a clip show version of Old Dirty Bastard's career.
And so after he got released out of jail, that's when the contract had been fulfilled. They paid out his end, and he got off doing only 2 albums. And, you know, the other joke I was going to make and can't make it anymore because I forgot what it was.
I will say this. Old Dirty, as J-Lo mentioned earlier, has a distinct rap singing style. And Dirty had the most beautiful voice. And we kind of want to just stop and illustrate that real quick. If you don't feel the magic from this man, then you have no soul. Roll that beautiful bastard footage.
Bad Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town, badder than the deep blue sea, badder than you and me.
Wasn't that something? Makes you think.
Sound of an angel.
Uh-huh.
You know, a lot of people wonder, Mike, why did he get the name Old Dirty Bastard?
Because I ain't no father to his style.
That's right. I love that answer. That's like the coolest. I think that's what got me into it at first. I'd listen to him driving to work in the morning. I'm like, wow, I feel like I could kill an alligator with an ape. Like, just do whatever I want. I feel like.
Wait, you mean like the alligator has an ape, or you're going to use an ape to kill the alligator?
Use the ape to kill the alligator.
Okay.
I know, it's grammatically ambiguous.
You're going to go ape shit.
Yeah, you'll love it. Anyways. No, I thought that was like, I always felt like empowered by it, you know, like there's something motivational, uplifting about the energy he brings to each track, you know?
And even in his interviews, I assume he was messed up, maybe under the influence, or maybe he was just putting on an act. I don't know. But he was very poetic whenever he speaks, and it translates very well into his lyrics.
He's got that gift of gab. We'll be back after this. Hey, and we're back.
Hey.
So no story about Old Dirty Bastard would be complete without a slight off-track journey through a little thing called the Nation of Gods and Earths.
The 5% nation of Gods and Earths. They came up with that particular number because, as the numbers break down, 85% of the masses are deaf, dumb, and blind, which sounds about right. 10% are the evil overlords of the world, and 5% are the poor, righteous teachers who basically spread knowledge and try to uplift the rest of the world.
And this was created by a Korean War veteran shortly after he returned home from the war. I can't remember his name. What was his name? Well, Mike finds that. This also I guess the doctrine or philosophy, you might say, also follows a trend of a reoccurring subject on the origin of man.
Of the white man.
And of all man, like.
Well, yeah, it plays into it. And yeah, it's Clarence 13X.
There you go. And so when you
AKA Allah the Father. Sorry.
So when you look at the gist of the doctrine, for lack of a better term, the black man is the closest to the way man is supposed to be.
Yeah, the Asiatic black man, which is basically everyone but white people.
Yeah. And the further away you get from that specific ethnic group, the more of a devil you are.
Yeah, supposedly the white man was created by a black mad scientist with a gigantic head by the name of Yakub, and it has something to do with the fall of Atlantis as well, I believe. I will say, for the record, many of the 5%ers came out later on to say that they weren't necessarily anti-white. They were pro-righteous and anti-devilish.
So they're anti-white.
The complex relationships between it's almost like we've almost hit like the opposite side of like how H.P. Lovecraft was about his
a little bit
ideas on how that race relations worked. But I learned about that in high school. I was like, I finished all my credit recovery work, so I just started looking stuff up. I'm surprised nobody was like, hey, you need to stop looking at that. But
yeah, I think it basically started as like an offshoot of Nation of Islam. And it was more of a, let's say, esoteric branch off, because it has to do with sort of pseudo-occult, pseudo-mysticism ideas with such things like supreme mathematics. There's a lot of interest in interplay between words, letters, and numbers, much like Jewish Kabbalah.
Weird how these things keep creeping up. It's like they...
it's like they're universal or something.
I know, right?
Or maybe they were cherry-picked to help build the lure or the mythology.
That's called
mythos.
syncretism, brother.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How does ODB fall into all this?
Well, see, the 5% Nation was a huge influence on the hip-hop culture, largely because of a lot of the previous, like, wordplay type stuff I mentioned. They had a lot of, I believe it was called, like, true science or something like that. But they did a lot of, like, breaking down of words to find the truth. So, like, the word library breaks down as lies buried, or television is tell live vision, basically, which the whole wordplay thing obviously was like easy transition into hip hop, and man, it's influenced so many rappers, very much specifically Wu-Tang Clan. They drop a lot of it in a lot of their music, the whole 5%ers, 85%ers, gods and earths, gods being men, earths being women. The sun, moon, and stars are men, women, and children, which kind of reflects like a Crowley type belief a little bit.
Yeah, that tattoo of sun, moon, and star that's made a resurgence around here in the last 15 years.
How about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of other very famous rappers and hip-hop, MCs are... if not actual members, very much affiliated or influenced by 5% Nation.
At least have had a run in or walk in.
Yeah, this includes Wu-Tang Clan, as previously mentioned. Jay-Z, to a degree. The Gravediggers, as mentioned earlier as well. Diggable Planets is a big one. Brand Nubian, Black Sheep. Nas, another big one. MF Doom, also.
Oh my God,
he's
really?
a big one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We love that guy.
Oh, yeah.
May peace be upon him.
Mm-hmm. So, like, this is sort of like it's a strange spiritual movement that came around in the 60s in Manhattan. It was very culturally influential because these, they're like facilities, basically gave, inner city black youth a place to go that was not, it was an alternative to drugs, gangs, etc. It was meant to be a positive influence, and for the most part, it is. I mean, it's kept, other than the strange racist overtones, but yeah, other than that, it's meant to provide a community that basically more or less provides an alternative to street crime and just basically getting in trouble once you get out of school because of all the latchkey kids, These are middle to lower class people, much like we were growing up. You know, like your parents aren't home from work till whatever time it is. You've been out of school for hours. You can get into all kinds of goddamn trouble. So that's basically what these facilities provided in the inner city areas for them. And huge influence. So yeah, from there and their influence exerted upon the Wu-Tang Clan, you can kind of see that it's only a natural progression that certain three-letter agencies, namely the FBI, would take a huge interest in the activities of said Wu-Tang Clan. There is actually a huge FBI file on the Wu-Tang Clan. It says in 1998, this is from Ranker, by the way, in 1989, the FBI's Assistant Director of Public Affairs sent a letter to Brian Turner, the president of Priority Records, objecting to NWA's infamous song, Fuck the Police. That famed incident was one of many inquiries made by the FBI regarding musical artists and their lyrical content.
No, wait, I have a quick question about this. Fuck the police, you say?
Yes.
So they are not endorsing sex with police.
You know what? That could go both ways. And I don't mean that as a pun. I mean, literally. I mean, no pun intended, I guess I should say. I'm not sure, but I think it, you know, excuse me. That famed incident was one of many inquiries made by the FBI regarding musical artists and their lyrical content. NWA and Wu-Tang Clan join a long list of FBI-investigated artists and musicians that include John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Elvis, The Kingsmen, and Insane Clown Posse. Both Insane Clown Posse and Wu-Tang Clan have been labeled major criminal organizations alongside infamous street gangs such as the Bloods and Crips. So, why did the FBI investigate Wu-Tang Clan in the first place? And is there any truth to the Bureau's claims? The story begins with the murder of 2 drug dealers and slowly fizzles out as quote-unquote justice is served. To some of us, they're a legendary rap collective. To others, they're literal gangsters. In 1999, the FBI labeled the Wu-Tang Clan a major criminal organization after opening an investigation on Russell Jones, a.k.a. Old Dirty Bastard. The FBI investigation stems from a tip given by the NYPD, who were investigating the murders of 2 drug dealers. Did we mention the Manhattan PD shootout?
Yeah, no, we didn't do that, but shootout seems like
the one,
like both parties participated.
The attempted massacre, yes.
Yeah.
That's a better way to put it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, the FBI, the Manhattan police basically blasted a shit ton of bullets at Old Dirty Bastard after they confused his cell phone for a gun. So obviously this type of thing is not new. He ended up getting called in on a bench warrant after a while, and I believe the Manhattan...
The grand jury, they dismissed the case and the charge because the only shell casings found there were property of the police department.
Well, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
good thing he wasn't reaching for his safety orange wallet.
right. Yeah. His fingers look like guns. Get him. The FBI file on the Wu-Tang Clan is long and throughout alludes to the fact that the rap collective is a real-life gang capable of running major conspiracies like money laundering and murder. The 94-page report was given a 281F classification code, the code specifically reserved for quote-unquote major criminal organizations. The FBI's list of possible crimes tied to the Wu-Tang Clan is extensive, but murder was always at the forefront. The FBI first had their suspicions about the Wu-Tang Clan after Brian Humphreys was arrested for the murder of Jerome Estrella, a.k.a. Boo Boo, on June 20th, 1999. The killer, who confessed to his crime, testified against Staten Island drug kingpins Anthony and Harvey Christian in exchange for a deal. In his testimony, he suggested that the RZA ordered a hit on Estrella after Estrella robbed his brother. 2015, further information not previously found in the heavily redacted FBI dossier was released to Anthony Christian's lawyer in a prosecutor's filing. A couple of weeks before the Boo Boo shooting, Uncles, a.k.a. informant Paul Ford, told Humphreys about a blood named Boo Boo who just came home from jail. He stated that Boo Boo had robbed RZA's little brother and had also gotten into something with the Christian brothers. Uncles was talking about Boo Boo and said that he had just come home and robbed RZA's brother and that they would likely come after him for that. Humphreys believes Uncles was referring to members of Wu-Tang. Despite the FBI's suspicions, RZA was never charged with the murder of 17-year-old Jerome Estrella, And in October 2014, Anthony and Harvey Christian were found responsible. Jerome Estrella's death wasn't the only murder the FBI linked to the Wu-Tang Clan. According to the massive FBI file, an alleged Wu-Tang associate was involved in the death of drug dealer Cory Booker. Though Cory Booker's name was redacted in the widely spread file, it resurfaced again in 2015 amidst a year-long effort by Michael Gold, the attorney of Staten Island drug kingpin Anthony Christian, who hoped to get prosecutors to reopen Wu-Tang's investigation. The newly resurfaced dossier outlined conversations with an FBI informant that allegedly RZA put a hit on Cory Booker after he robbed his brother and Raekwon's cousin. Cory Booker's murder was never solved, and neither RZA nor Raekwon were ever charged. According to the FBI's massive dossier, the rap group was deeply affiliated with the Bloods. Testimony during Jerome Estrella's murder trial showed that, in the very least, RZA and Raekwon were acquaintances of Staten Island drug kingpins Anthony and Harvey Christian. Brian Humphreys, the trigger man in Jerome Estrella's murder, was also associated with the infamous gang. It was his testimony that led the FBI to believe the Bloods sometimes did Wu-Tang's dirty work. The massive dossier read, "It is believed that, redacted, sometimes carry out enforcement actions for the Wu-Tang Clan, which includes beatings, shootings, and murder. Furthermore, Fife," not that one, the alleged Wu-Tang associate who was thought to have murdered Cory Booker on behalf of RZA, was also a member of the Bloods. The FBI requested permission to further investigate Wu-Tang's links with the Bloods. They wanted to swap and compare information relating to the drug business of the Bloods and Wu-Tang Clan with the FBI's field office in Allentown, Pennsylvania, of all places. Man, there's so much stuff in this damn FBI file. I don't think we have enough time to cover it all, but it's all related to drug running, gun sales, murders, etc., and none of it, not a single bit, is substantiated. It's all unfounded. So, once again, it's just more FBI, COINTELPRO type bullshit. So,
I bet it had nothing to do with him being black either, or from a poor neighborhood. I bet it's just coincidental.
Yeah, the part where Old Dirty started getting real paranoid.
Yeah.
About all that.
Yeah, he got, well, the drugs didn't help. But, yeah, apparently he got so paranoid that RZA, his cousin, bought him $50K in spy equipment, including a bulletproof vest.
This didn't help to alleviate much of the stress or perceived paranoia, fear that Old Dirty felt.
Yeah, actually, he's been quoted as saying, "If I die, the CIA killed me." And he's quite often made government rants.
Everybody always saying that Dirty is crazy. Dirty is not crazy at all. Dirty just foresee a lot that a lot of people don't foresee. The government brainwash our people with the mind control theory. That's what they do. So they make sure our people like it. They keep playing that same song. The same song keep playing, you're going to start to like it. You start to get probed with it. You start to get cloned with it. So then for the clone exists, then it just takes over. It takes over the human body. It takes over the spirit. It takes over the soul. And therefore, behold, that's what you got.
Take with a grain of salt. We'll say that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was also during that time, I believe, around roughly the release of The W, the Wu-Tang's third album, that during their premiere at the, I want to say, Hammerstein Ballroom, I believe it was, Old Dirty mysteriously showed up while on the run, performed on stage, much to the delight of the disbelieving crowd, and disappeared back into the ether, never to be seen again. He was seen again, but yeah, he somehow made it out to perform. And it was actually on that album that he was in jail for most of the time.
Because of that bulletproof vest he got from the RZA.
Yeah, yes. It was illegal to wear a bulletproof vest.
They just passed the law in California.
If you're a felon. Yeah. And that was for his 93 second degree assault charge, by the way.
Which a lot of felons do plea bargains and then they throw other criminals under the bus. So having a bulletproof vest would make sense.
Yeah. I mean,
for a felon.
I think he was more worried about law enforcement, most definitely.
The men in black.
I can't imagine why after opening fire on him like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What irrational thinking.
Yeah. His one and only appearance on the album The W was in fact recorded while he was in jail on the song MC Conditioner, or actually I think it's just called Conditioner, but it's him and Snoop Dogg, and it's one of the better tracks on that album. Also around this time, while he was on the run, he kept showing up in weird places. I could be wrong on this, but I think he shows up in the background of a little known Keanu Reeves pick called The Replacements, where they're like shitty football players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in the background of that movie. I could be wrong. But yeah, he ended up eventually getting caught again when one day, outside of a McDonald's parking lot, crowds of hundreds were gathering, and it freaked the McDonald's manager the fuck out.
People don't like McDonald's this much.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
He's like, what's going on out there? And it turns out, man of the people, Dirt McGirt, was out there signing autographs for all his fans in Philadelphia. And unfortunately, that's where he got caught again and was put back in jail.
Poor old dirty Chinese restaurant.
Yeah. But, that's just the man he is. He sacrificed for his fans,
You're on the run, too. It's probably like, oh, yeah, I got time for a couple of 100 autographs.
Yeah. I bet he felt, safe in that spot, in that moment, surrounded by fans, and kind of just maybe like let it go for a minute.
It always happens when you let your guard down.
He was in jail once again and would eventually be released in 2003, after which he was immediately signed to Rockefeller Records. He cut an album with them, which has never been released. I believe they released one track from it in 2018. The rest is unfortunately lost to history, I'm guessing.
It's in the Vatican.
Yeah. Only the most holiest of scriptures. And yeah, it wouldn't be long after that, as mentioned earlier, on November 13th, 2 days before his 36th birthday, he would be in the recording studio complaining of chest pains. And it would turn out that much sooner than later, in that moment, he would pass on from this world. And it was due to overdose of the prescription opioid tramadol mixed with cocaine. So he was speedballing and basically pulled a Jim Belushi.
So the story goes anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there are,
there's speculation out there.
There is. You know what? We may include a few audio snippets of Dirty talking about how he's not crazy. This is something J-Lo and I talked about yesterday, about you project this image of like the crazy wild man, and it allows you to get away with saying anything you want to say. But at the same time, unfortunately, you try to say something that really needs to be heard, and people aren't necessarily going to believe it.
Yeah.
Because you're the wild, crazy man, and he sort of painted himself into that corner, I believe.
But I mean, let's be fair. Somebody like him coming from the background that he came from and then hitting the big time and then not knowing what all the executives and all the red tape and all the
music industry bullshit.
Yeah, and how much money they're really going to make, and then how much the record label made on top of it. I mean, that can really, really mess with you when you don't know what you're getting into.
That's true. It's like, we mentioned during the Chuck Barris episode about how his daughter was a drug addict, and he was like, I don't have time to fuck with this. And he just cut her $1 million check. It's kind of in the same vein as that. I will say that this is probably one of the researching Old Dirty. This is probably one of the first episodes that's really elicited an emotional response out of me, because this man seriously got me through some tough times. But before we get into our own reminiscences, I will say that Old Dirty was a romantic. And let's listen to a little bit of what he thought about romance and love. Roll that beautiful bastard footage.
The favorite part of a woman is when her feet walk across the floor without a smell, but with a smell that you can smell your own smell. And you know that feet stink. It got an aroma to it. And you calculate in how her ass moves from side to side with that aroma. And you know that it's aroma in that ass too. But you can lick that asshole and you won't get no aroma. but you know that the aroma exists. And then you can kiss her neck and suck this and suck that and lick that and lick that, and you can actually feel the prophecy of a woman being sexy, called a sex object and a sex tool and a fine, scandalous, romantic, most movable object that a motherfucker couldn't even get if he didn't have a motherfucking woman.
Speaking of romance, Matt, I believe you had a story that you wanted to tell about your personal relationship with our Lord and Savior, ODB.
Yeah. Well, around the time I was in high school, the Dave Chappelle show came out. Wu-Tang frequent flyers on there all the time, so all the other stuff that comes with it, especially Old Dirty Bastard, showed up. There's an Old Dirty track on one of these albums, and I can't remember which one it is, but...
Return to the 36 Chambers.
Yeah. I learned the song verbatim, right? And it's that song, The First Time, that one. And I sang it to my lady at the time, and I was like, man, she is totally gonna dig this. I'm like, fucking, man, like, just put the crown of olive on me and title me Caesar, because fucking, we got this. I win. Man, she was pissed. It backfired real bad.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, right? She's the one that did the thing. I'm just singing about it.
Some ladies are classier than others.
I guess. This classless lady.
As I've openly mentioned on this show before, I've done LSD quite a handful of times in my life.
We do not advocate.
Yes, we don't do that. I'm just being, for sake of transparency.
For educational purposes.
And yeah, I would listen to Return to the 36 Chambers over and over and over. And my God, like, this is what I meant earlier when I said that Old Dirty kind of became my own personal drop dead Fred, my spirit animal. He's also got this song called Snakes on the Return to the 36 Chambers album that sort of talks about snakes in human costumes. And I'm almost positive that he that he threw this idea out before David Icke and all the reptilian horseshit. I could be wrong on the timing there. I don't know. But not only that, but also, continuing for the sake of transparency, I am a recovering drug addict. I used to have a bad one. I won't say which awesome drug. No, I'm joking. There was an epidemic. We'll go with that. And I fell prey to that. But anyways, in my darkest moments, once again, this man helped pull me out. I don't know. There's just something about him. I think the whole embracing of the dirty lifestyle, for lack of a better word, it just helped me. It helped me not give a shit in just the right way, that I could keep functioning and, correctly and not have to care so much about certain things. Like, it helped me sort of let go of a lot of shit. And it basically, once again, I don't know, he was a light in the darkness for me. And I salute him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ODB.
So, just a quick reminder, if Scruff McGruff were Dirt McGirt, then it would be Dirt McGirt, Shaolin, New York, 10310. I just had to add that in there. I thought it was cool. There was a part in the Tao of the Wu, the book that RZA wrote.
I still need to read that.
Yeah, it was to deal with the mourning of Old Dirty and just kind of a look back of the history of the clan.
Yeah.
He said...
That's the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said there was a moment in there that, like, he writes, there's a moment when I realized, like, we had lost Old Dirty.
Oh, yeah, I think
like,
I heard about this.
He's like, man, what's going on? Like,
he said something to the effect of, like, RZA, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's when, they knew they kind of lost him.
This dude's out.
Man, yeah, we've all here lost friends to drug overdose. Not to get all maudlin or, serious or downer or anything, but just it sucks that some of the funniest, greatest people also harbor the darkest side. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can't have one without the other. You know, the simplest way I can put it is roses don't grow without shit, and you can't see stars without darkness. So on that note, I don't know. I hope that helps you along your way in any way possible.
We love you, ODB.
Love you, ODB. We love you out there. Thank you for listening today. Thanks for sticking around if you're still here for season 3. Matt, you got anything else to add?
Rest in peace, Old Dirty.
F&A. Yeah. So on that note, thanks for coming in. Pull up a chair. Come back next time. Take your shoes off. Sad a spell. If you want to get a hold of us, you can do that at Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts at gmail.com or facebook.com/Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts, all one word and spelt out. And our website is kooks-cranks-and-iconoclast.com. By the way, shout out to Jason James for doing our graphics for us. And yeah, this has been the Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And I'm J-Lo.
And we will see you next week. Love you. Bye.